I just got done watching the Banshees of Inisherin, and this is hands down one of the best movies of 2022, and I think it's safe to say that this is Martin McDonagh's best film of his entire career. And this film centers on two lifelong friends who find themselves at an impasse when one abruptly just ends their relationship with alarming consequences for the both of them. Now, the whole tone of this movie is very much a dramedy. There's a lot of hilarious moments in there, like a lot of dry, hilarious great wit where you will be busting out laughing. And then all of a sudden, the next scene, you are deeply emotional and very resonant to everything going on in this film. And this is actually surprisingly one of the most emotional movies that I've felt in this entire year, to the point where I left and I had this sinking emotional feeling through the events that I kind of went through in this movie. Because this is a very subtle and small movie, but just like the certain things that happen in here, and particularly between these two and their friendship, it just really resonated with me and all the themes that Martin McDonagh decided to write in here, and I just found myself like literally in tears driving home. And I didn't expect that. Like, I didn't even feel teary watching this movie, but that just goes as far to show you how great this movie is. And before we get any further with this, hi, my name is Zach. Thank you so much for clicking on this. This is what I love doing every single day, is talking movies. And if you also love talking movies, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as comment down below your guys' thoughts. What are your thoughts on the Banshees of Inisherin? Are you excited for this movie? Are you not? It's coming out this week, more of a wide release. I cannot express that this is a must-see movie for the year. And while it is very unique and very small, I think it is absolutely worth your time. Just understand that this is, again, a dramedy, so it's not just going to be gut-busting laughs the entire time. There is a lot of dramatic avenues to this, and since this is a Martin McDonagh movie, there are a lot of tonal shifts. Sometimes you're laughing, sometimes it's dramatic, sometimes it's even horrifying and unsettling at certain things that go on in here, because if you've seen the trailer, you see what one of the characters actually say to the other friend. He says, if you keep talking to me, I'm going to cut each of my fingers off each time and throw them at your door. Pretty much he threatens him like, I'm literally going to cut one of my fingers off, throw it at your door every time you bother me. Which is just very odd and unsettling to even think of that happening. But that's something that this movie does really well. But the biggest thing that I want to talk about is actually the performances here first, and I love talking about that first. But flat out, Colin Farrell. This might be one of my favorite performances of his, and it's, again, so subtle in a nuanced way, but it really doesn't hit an impactful way towards the back half. Because of all the build-up earlier in the film to the final moments of this, it really hits hard in those final two things. And Brendan Gleeson as well is, I mean, just stellar in here. Both of them acting side by side just is phenomenal. And you can tell this love for both of them, even though they are going through this impasse right now, and I really do love that. And I also love the fact that the supporting cast really adds to this all. Kerry Condon and Barry Keoghan absolutely kill this. And truthfully enough, when you look at both of their characters and what they actually represent in this movie is very important, because Martin McDonagh is one of the more smart writers out there, and I think this is actually his best written script as well as his best directed movie. And I say that because all the performances are fantastic. Like, hands down, I could see him being nominated for Oscars. I was delightfully, just genuinely felt like these are real people that I wanted to spend time with and see where they're really much their entire relationship went. But Martin McDonagh's writing and the themes of fate, the themes of friendship, love, death, life, all of those things in here are touched upon. And each character in a way represents one of these themes on this small little island off the coast of Ireland. And all of these things tie into one another by the very end. You see what Barry Keoghan represents. You see what Kerry Condon represents. And the same thing goes for Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson and their friendship. And I was really taken back by that. I didn't expect to get those themes. To be honest, I really, I expected some overlaying themes here and there, but I expected more of a heartwarming comedy between two friends that maybe will become friends again. But there's way more than that under the surface. And this is actually a movie that the second it ended, I wanted to just put it back on and rewatch it to analyze every little thing that I might have missed, any nuance, any subtle detail. And I truthfully think that this might be Martin McDonagh's best movie he's ever made. And in fact, as I say that again, It is his best movie he's ever made. Adding in there all the special things that I mentioned when it comes down to themes also tie into, just in general, how time is one of the most important and honestly one of the best gifts you can ever give a person. But what happens when you feel that your time was wasted? And those opportunities that maybe in your later life, or maybe just in the life you're living right now, you feel like you've already missed out on. These are things that each of our characters represent and maybe tackle. And I was very much progressively, as the film continued, you see how tragic all of this is, but as moving as it can possibly get. And I was just really like, this movie messed me up, man. And the other thing that I thought was brilliant was the way that the movie was shot. Now, obviously, the cinematography is great. Like, all of the landscape just looks phenomenal. You expect that from this type of movie. Specifically, just in the opening shots, you're like, this is gorgeous. The thing that really ties this movie, actually just a cherry on top and a bow wrapped all on it, is when you're sitting there, there's certain moments that, you know, he recreates shots with the actors maybe stepping in a different way. Like, one shot, the first time you see it, it's Brendan Gleeson in front and Colin Farrell behind. And then maybe 45 minutes later, since their kind of friendship goes back and forth with certain different things happening to them, you see the reverse. And it's very profound to see how these parallels really work in here and how time and reasons that it kind of goes about within the story. The other thing I was actually quite impressed with within this was another scene where one person's outside drinking, the other person's inside drinking, and vice versa. These little things show so much, and also shows the culture of this entire little town on the coast of Ireland, like I mentioned. And I, again, was just taken back by that. I think the Banshees of Inisherin is brilliant. Beyond belief, actually. Darkly hilarious, emotional, and richly layered with themes of fate, friendship, and death. Colin and Brendan were stunning, and I actually think this might be one of Colin Farrell's best performances he's ever given. On top of that, the reason that these performances work so well, because they can always give great performances, it is Martin McDonagh's direction and script. His direction in here was absolutely incredible, and I think truly enough, this is his best movie of his career. This movie is perfect. I loved it, and the more and more I think about it, the more and more I come to just be like, God, I wish I could watch it again right now. And I think a lot of you guys are going to feel that exact same way. So, of course, with all that said, I'm going to give the Banshees of Inisherin an A+. Really love this one, and I think a lot of you guys are also going to love it as well. So make sure to hit that like, subscribe button, comment down below your guys' thoughts, and of course, until next time, stay classy.